Oh. Yo, what's up guys, welcome to another Warcraft replay here, and yeah, apologies for not uploading in such a long time. Nearing the midpoint of my semester, and that's when most of the tests and assignments are due. And yeah, I'm kinda halfway there. 2 more tests until I'm on break, and hopefully can cast some Warcraft. Hopefully Netease will be on 1.30 soon enough. Although, after reading a couple of threads on Reddit, I'm not too confident on 1.30 anymore. I thought it would change in a healthy way, I guess. Most people have been very critical of 1.30. That's what I'm assuming. I haven't actually touched the patch myself. I have updated, and that kind of explains some of the delay on another video, to be honest. I accidentally updated my Warcraft, and apparently Netease didn't like that, so I had to find out how to download a 1.29. It took me a while until I realized, oh wait, Netease just downloads 1.29 from their client as well, so yeah, there's that. So thankful for that. This is going to be a game played on the 14th, I believe, or 13th. Moon versus Soin. Soin spawning in as the blue orc player on the top left, and Moon spawning in as the red night elf on the top right. Keeper go first, which is, I would like to say it has been seeing a lot of play in 1.29, but the problem is I haven't actually been watching that much night elf in 1.29, so I can't really make that big of a claim. And yeah, of the night elves I've seen, they've mainly just stuck to their demon hunter, who hasn't really been touched in 1.29, so that generally just means that he's still solid as ever. But yeah, I imagine we should be seeing a lot more variation in 1.30. I think we already are, with either Keeper or Priestess of the Moon start into Mass Huntresses, and I think that's not sure if that's a good way to start. I've been told it's been very, how should I say it? It's basically you have to do that or you are playing subpar or something along those lines, which doesn't sound too great, but hopefully that is just some hearsay. Blademaster going for some really good wisp harassment there, is going to get a single grunt kill as Keeper. Needs to be a little careful, he can't actually handle a Blademaster by himself. He does have Force of Nature, which obviously he started with, since we did see this camp being cleared out fairly easily. And Entangle, he is spamming that Entangle, but not sure how helpful that is going to be. Blademaster still being very problematic, Grunt just going for those wisps there, and the Archer is going to drink up some Moon Juice. As the Blademaster, I mean, no one's attacking him, so he has really no reason to run away. Grunt, however, is going to be picked up here. Blademaster a little slow on that denial, but yeah, that's actually pretty good for the Keeper. Getting very close to level 3 already, and it's only like 3 minute and 40 second time mark. Yeah, but I assume no more grunts are coming in. As I say that, another grunt is moving out. But tier 2, fast tech. I think I got disconnected from the Netease, but fast tech from Soin should be going into, I honestly have no idea, double raiders or just the normal Spirit Lodge Bestiary. As Keeper does have boots of speed, so that is nice, just in case the Blademaster wants to turn around like he is doing right now. Oh yeah, that just reminds me of the initial days of 1.30, where apparently boots of speed, the stock was available at the beginning, which was like crazy to think about, because it was already known that the shop was going to have 2 boots, because it's kind of disadvantageous to miss out on the boots on a single shop map like this. So yeah, the 2 boots wasn't that big of a deal, but it was the 0 minute mark boots of speed, which was crazy to think about, because that just meant like things like this, the Blade Master harassment or something like that, would be even crazier to deal with. Because the Blade Master loves selling his TP scroll first to pick up some expensive items. As another grunt is going to fall, I think the Blade Master is going to get that successful denial. But either way, that is still a grunt that he has to get killed off. Keeper did hit level 3 thanks to that Ancient of War, going for another camp. As tier 2 is also done for Moon, but no Hunter Soul, so this is going to be double Ancient of Wind.
Work complete.
As instantly tier 3, as I don't see any double Ancient of Winds just yet, so interesting to be taking so soon without making any units, but I mean, as soon as you get Cyclone, I guess those Druids of Talons will be a lot more useful. It's just that, yeah, Druids of Talons are pretty good when they are masked up already, so I am a little worrisome, but we shall see. Turn Chieftain coming out, pretty standard to deal with that Druid of Talon threat. Thankfully, versus most spellcaster comps, the turn is not that bad versus Night Elf. Because let's say you go for Human. Human love to make Spellbreakers, and Shockwave or Stomp is completely useless. When you're versing Undead, we have the Destroyers, which are immune, so yeah, versus Night Elf, Turn Chieftain is very, very good. As the Keeper, wow, is gonna get himself a free kill here with the Entangle onto the Raiders, so Keeper being very, very annoying, especially considering there are no Huntresses on the field, so he's just gonna go in once again, maybe go after a Peon, as yeah, that's just I mean, making full value of that Keeper of the Grove, I guess. And with Boot to Speed, he is out of there. Blade Master has 2 claws, so he's looking good so far in the late game. He just needs to get some levels because he's still level 1, which is kind of sad to see. And the camps are not getting any easier to clear out without your opponent like right next to you, so let's see. But for now, Demon Hunter for second, so supportive Demon Hunter here, mostly for his mana burns, I believe, and I'm pretty sure those mana burns will be headed towards that Tauren Chieftain, who I guess my mouse just magically clicked on. Yeah, Blade Master, he's not getting any love. He is going to be giving solo experience over to the Tauren Chieftain once again, as he is going to harass, which is very, very dangerous. I can kind of see the Blade Master getting screwed here, but we shall see, as he is just going to sneak in and take out the Ogre Magi. Picked up another clause from the marketplace, so yeah, I guess marketplace very, very rarely used, but when you do see that free clause, that is always nice to pick up. As one last peon unable to get into this battle stations there, as another peon actually dies as well, so Keeper getting 2 free peons there and might even get level 4 off of that, as he just runs away without when he expends his mana. Did the peon actually die? Okay, the peon actually died, but I guess I overestimated how much experience he actually gives. But yeah, should be heading to that level 4 after one more camp, assuming there is another camp. There is one in the bottom right and left. Okay, so you can get that, or you can just go for the base again and go after a peon. Not like he's had any troubles of doing that. Masses training on those druids is now going to be completed, as yeah, at about supply, how much supply? 38 supplies, so he has plenty of druids to make, and could be a bit of a problem for Soin if he doesn't get like any good number of raiders, or if he doesn't get a Demolisher, because yeah, when you get about 50 supply of Druids of Talons, even though they're by themselves, they don't do too much. When there's like a bajillion of them attacking one target with Fairy Fire, it does definitely add up. Keeper once again, like I said, going after free kills, and Yeah, I think he just went after a free raider, so that was really good for himself because that is worth a lot more than a peon. And he does have Orb Venom just to add that additive damage. Yeah, just to help secure kills with his Entangle damage over time ability. As, yeah, Demon Hunter is also looking pretty good in terms of levels. Is going to hit that level 3. And level 2 Mana Burn will be a lot more impactful since 100 is basically a spell cast compared to 50, which is like almost a spell cast. Cyclone coming down onto the turn as the Blade Master finally did hit level 2. I'm not gonna mean too much because yeah, it's still level 1 crit strike. Wow, that is actually really funny. So Blade Master, who did pick up a claw from the marketplace. I'm not sure if the Demon Knight picked up any claws from the marketplace himself, but he also has 3 claws of attack, which is really funny to see. Goblin Tigger coming out, and I guess just to add a little bit of front line for the Night Elf player, I guess. It's either the Tinkerer or the Beastmaster, but most of the time on the 3rd slot it is the Tinkerer. It's just that this time around the Beastmaster is not in the field, it is the Keeper. And honestly, the Keeper's doing really well. Let's see how well he can do in an actual fight, because you would think with this kind of playstyle, with Entangle and then Run Away, that he is not that strong in 1v1 skirmishes. And that might be true, we shall see, as both players are pretty even in supply. No Kodo Beast for the Orc player, but yeah, Moon still needs to be really careful with that potential shockwave on the turn. Chieftain is going to get that Cyclone down, as the Keeper took a huge amount of damage after he gets surrounded there, so yeah, that was not actually good for Moon, but to be honest, that was kind of expected. Keeper is really squishy, and he, I guess he wasn't lucky enough to get enough procs on his Talisman of Evasion. Fairy Dragons are on the field as well, which kind of dilutes the supply count for Moon, but I guess he just values those mana flares a lot more than 2 or 3 more Druids of Talons.
Work complete.
We still have this Murloc camp and these 2 turtle camps here, so there is still plenty of experience on the field. Demon Hunter did hit level 3, as
We're under attack.
yeah, not much else to say about that. Entangle onto the Blade Master, and that actually is going to be a dead Blade Master. Wow. Really unfortunate for Soin to have not realized that he was not in Windwalk form. But yeah, that was really bad, because now it is Soin who is in trouble, as the Blade Master, even though he's only level 2, or 3, I think it was level 2, yeah, level 2, he still had quite a good number of damage items, and might have actually contributed to this fight, as Soin is just going to pick this one. No shockwaves just yet. There we go with the shockwave there. It is a level 2 shockwave, so it is going to do a good number of damage there. If you can get a second one, or maybe a third, that would be ideal. But the Scrolls of Healing coming down once again from Moon, as yeah, I mean, all I see is a big chunk of blue, and that's only the illusions. Illusions don't actually contribute to the fight too much, as the Raiders are slowly being eaten up here. Entangle onto the Troll Berserker, and that is going to be a victory for Moon. So that was surprising, but it seems like the Turn Chieftain didn't even have a TV scroll, so I was wondering why he picked that fight, and the only reasonable answer was he had no option. So maybe this time around he will pick up a TV scroll, because that was almost game ending. And to be honest, to me it kind of already is game ending, because Moon is just in such a fantastic position. He's now going to expand now that he knows that he's the more dominant player. His Stinker did hit level 2 as well, so I mean, we never see Cluster Rocket, so I always assume he has the upgrade ability instead. I don't actually remember what it does with the Pocket Factory. I know it does like extra damage or a longer stun, for the cluster rockets, but yeah, I can't remember the Pocket Factory. Honestly, it kind of it's probably like increased spawn rate for the Clockwork Goblins, or just maybe stronger Clockwork Goblins in general, as a that was a rather funny interaction. But Ensnare's coming down onto the Keeper of the Grove is going to be forced to use a potion of invuln there, as the two Orc heroes are going to be cycloned. Will they be cyclone surrounded? I don't think so, as another shockwave comes down. He does have a mana pot for a third, but yeah, the Druids of Talon's just taking it to the skies, escaping that any further shockwaves there, as another cyclone coming down, but it is onto a Sparrow Walker instead. Demon Hunter is going to be turned around and snared, as can he escape? He does have a health pot, and he does have that TP scroll just in case, as the Druids of Talons are just focus firing that lone Spirit Walker. I say lone, but there is another one. But yeah, once those Spirit Walkers get taken down, like, it's honestly just picking season for the Keeper of the Grove. And actually, this Spirit Walker doesn't even have mana, so is going to be forced to leave that Raider alone, as yet another Raider actually bites the dust as well. Yeah, Soin is not looking too good. Another Shockwave, actually going to claim about 4 Druids of Talon, so that is a huge turn of events, and that ensnare onto the Keeper of the Grove was even bigger as well. That is going to give level 5 to the Turn Chieftain, but more importantly, that actually pushes Moon's attack back. And the Blade Master tried to get some free kills here. This Druid of Talon is unable to escape as he has no mana to transform, but yeah, that ensnare turnaround was really good. Because if that didn't happen, I'm pretty sure the Keeper of the Grove probably would have lived and probably would have kept pressing on. Moon probably made the mistake of maybe having his Keeper at the front, which was really aggressive, but also really foolish once it got punished, so that is rather unfortunate. I mean, the Demon Hunter always had the items of survivability as well, so the Keeper was like, he had nothing on hand, which was surprising because I would have expected at least 2 stats of preservations by now. But yeah, the Tinkerer does have 1, but I honestly couldn't remember if any preservations were used, so it might have been a mistake from Moon. But I mean, since Druids of Talons is so cheap in remaking, that he's already caught up to 50 supply. He's even in low upkeep, which I guess was a mistake. But since he does have a second base, it doesn't really matter too much. That's if these raiders have anything to say about it, as they are quickly making work with this Tree of Life. And Moon is not actually going to respond in time for this, and that is going to be a second base taken down. Funnily enough, those Wisps dying actually made Moon get out of upkeep, so yeah, I mean, second base if you are in upkeep, but once that second base gets taken down, no more gold tax, which could be ironic. I don't know if it actually is, but yeah, Keeper is now back onto the fields, and probably not going to make that same mistake again. He's very close to level 5, which I'm not too sure on the scaling differences between level 2 and level 3 Entangle, but it might be useful. Or it might just be like very middling. I don't know. We're about to hit the 19-minute mark, and I think that's like 2 or 3 minutes more worth of gold. Wait, is it? I think so. Probably. But either way, this is indeed a game. Turn Chieftain, level 5. That is, I think, a 2-shot with the Shockwave there. So, yeah, Moon needs to be like super quick with his Crow forms on his Druids. If that's even if he wants to like dodge the Shockwaves. So far, he has been just eating it up, and that's a little scary. But Keeper is going to pick up an Invuln and a Scroll of Healing. He also picked up Dust as well, just in case the Blade Master either escapes or is out of position, like that previous death. But probably not going to happen anytime soon. Spirit Links being cast on the Orc army here as, yeah, Moon is now under assault. Raiders are going to make quick work out of that Ancient of War. Not before Moon actually comes in from the left side there. Nice mana flare to go instantly punish that Spirit Walker from disenchanting, I believe. As Force of Nature level 1? Oh no, level 3. Since there are 3 Treants, that is a level 2 ability. I'm honestly surprised no Thornzora at all versus an Orc player of all things. Human player, I kind of understand why Thornzora might not be used, but against Orc, like, I mean, half of their units are melee. But we shall see if Force of Nature is actually going to be impactful. Yeah, I don't know, but 1 creep camp left, I believe. Oh no, we still have these 2 here, which could be a potential item for whoever clears it, but it hasn't even been considered by other players. I'm pretty sure someone just assumes that Mooner's already taken it out, but yeah, I mean, he's not doing much himself either. And we're sticking to Stronghold Tech here, it seems, for Soin, as he is going to go into low upkeep as his opponent. Blamemaster is quite ahead, but since Moon is nowhere nearby, this is going to be a pretty devastating loss for Moon if he actually doesn't do anything about it. It seems like he is not actually going to do anything about it. He does have a deep scroll if he wants to, but he is just going to be clearing out the camp first. Is going to lose a couple of Moon Wells for that. I think he only lost 1, but could lose a potential second, as someone's actually going to choose to go with this fight, invuln onto the Turn Chieftain, so that's going to prevent him from being cycloned up, as a devastating shockwave doing a whole boatload of damage onto those Druids of Talons there. And now we see the Desperation Cyclones coming in onto those Raiders. A very nice disenchant to cancel that completely. Another shockwave doing a ton of damage to the Keeper of the Grove in particular. But now they oh, actually no, he has plenty of mana available. But it seems like, yeah, the Orc army is slowly losing footing here, as most of the Raiders have been taken down. Lots of Spirit Walkers, but the Raiders are pretty much the damage dealers of the core, as another Shockwave is going to claim a couple of Druids' lives there. This is all Soin needs to do, pretty much hit and run with his Shockwave ability, but yeah, it's not going to be enough once those Druids actually get taken out. There is still a good number of mercenaries, as well as the triple heroes here from the Night Elf player. Tanker did hit level 3, and those Pocket Factories are going to actually mean something now, as the Demon Hunter is still chasing away before he got stopped in his tracks with an Ensnare. Yeah, just trying to stall with that Ensnare, but one by one these Raiders are surprisingly just getting killed off, which is a little bit clumsy from Soin, but is going to live to see another day, as army supplies have been equalized for both sides. The main problem, like I said a couple minutes ago, is that the gold mines have now collapsed, and well, it seems like Soin still has plenty of gold, since he was previously harassed quite a bit by the Keeper of the Grove. So yeah, still has about 700 gold left, so he can still produce an army enough for maybe 60 supply, I'm assuming. Or maybe he wants to go for that expansion, which will elongate the game a lot more, as Blamemaster somehow got himself a 4th clause of attack, probably from the marketplace, as this one was taken out by Moon, and this one has yet to be taken out by anyone, so I'm assuming from the marketplace, but that is, whew, I mean, considering you're almost out of golds, it is a really big risk in going in all the way with the damage, especially after 1.29 crit damage calculations have been changed. Straight up fight here might not be that great of an idea for Soin, because once he chooses to run away, he is going to be entangled chased by the Keeper and the rest of his gang, as the mana flares, I guess, starting to do some noticeable damage, since there is a good number of fairy dragons, but yeah,
Our gold mine has collapsed.
Moon's army actually doesn't look that threatening. Only 4 drills with talons, which is, yeah, like I said, kind of weak looking. I honestly wouldn't run away from an army like this, even with like all the mercenaries on the field. Fairy dragons don't do too much damage, and if you don't use that many, if you don't spam spells, then mana flare will no longer rack up. This army doesn't look that that powerful compared to a couple minutes ago, which is, I guess, mainly due to the fact that the gold mine was collapsed. So once this comes back online, I guess we will start seeing the Drivs of Talons number in like 10s to 20s, I guess. But Force of Nature level 3, in fact, by the Keeper of the Grove, which is going to substitute the lack of units that Moon currently has, or doesn't have, I guess. So he chose to get Force of Nature rather than Entangle level 3, which is something worth noting. I guess that kind of answers my question on the difference of scaling between level 2 and level 3 Entangle. Force of Nature, yeah, as you can see here, can stack with previous casts. I actually was wondering if it, if you can have multiple of 4 treants, but yeah, apparently you can. So you can have up to 8 at a time. Sadly, they are not actually going to do too much, as Soin is going to choose to attack elsewhere.
We're under attack.
Alright, here we go, another fight ensuing. This might actually be the last fight, considering that position that Soin is in right now. Another shockwave going to do half to that Pocket Factory. The treants are kind of doing their damage. This chance can be used to deal some damage on those some units there, as the Blade Master hit level 4. A 1v1 duel between the Demon Hunter and the Blade Master. It seems like it was not honorable, as the Ogre Molars and the other gang actually take him down. Keeper at full health, but the shockwave onto the Demon Hunter will bring him down to about orange. But yeah, and the combination of Entangle and Mana Burn, able to pick up Spirit Walkers one by one. Another shockwave comes down from the Tauren Chieftain. He does have 2 mana pots that he would definitely love to use during this full fight. Another shockwave coming down onto the Demon Hunter there, and that might be a dead Demon Hunter before he gets given an invuln to save his life. So still a bit of a problem for Soin, because it is 1 versus 3 heroes. Shockwave is going to claim a good number of Druid's lives, as the Ogre Mauler also almost fell. So once that turn sheet comes down and goes for another shockwave, I can imagine. Actually, no one died, so I guess my imagination was rather poor. But what I can imagine right now is, if the turn chieftain gets that level 6, it might actually be game over, because I can't imagine Moon actually killing this turn chieftain a second time. But we can wait and see. Someone is actually long distance mining here. He chose not to make another expansion. Entangle comes down onto the turn chieftain. Still needs to be really careful with his Druids of Talon placements there, because the turn is dangerously close to level 6. But yeah, the Raiders, I'm not sure what they're doing around here, but I mean, they didn't really do too much. They are going to ensnare the Demon Hunter, but Tauren Chieftain also getting focus fired as well. Wow, he was so close to level 6, but yeah, I guess at that point, once he lost all his Raiders, I guess even a reincarnated Tauren Chieftain wouldn't have been enough. But either way, it didn't really matter, because Tauren Chieftain didn't even hit level 6. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. I will try to see if I can cast one tomorrow or something like that, but I will see you guys again next time. Take care.